students know the staff by name, the staff know the kids by name, and that means something. When you're called by your name, you're not just one of 333 kids. When people know you by name, it means everything.
Welcome to episode 3 of Riverhawk Roundtable. Shout out to grade 10 music student Elliot, who produced the music for this week's episode. For this week's show, we had the chance to sit down with Tammy Earle, assistant head of school, to discuss all things academics at RNS. Tammy sheds light on how challenge in a caring and supportive environment is the key to student growth. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Riverhawk Roundtable. Today we are coming to you from Science Hall in the office of assistant head of school, Tammy Earle. Tammy, thank you so much for taking time to join us on the show today. I know things are really busy with IB exams in full swing, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
To start off, can you share a bit about your journey here at RNS and touch on some of the different roles that you've had during your time here, some different responsibilities, and what your role as assistant head of school academics looks like day to day?
Absolutely. My journey started over 30 years ago. I've been part of the RNS community. I started as a math teacher, teaching middle school math and science and calculus over the years. But then I had the opportunity to wear many hats. So I have been a house parent, director of technology, IB coordinator, robotics coach, the first female rugby coach, you name it. So it's been a real journey for me having the opportunity to do a variety of roles, and my current role as assistant head academics has really allowed me to work closely with students and help them plot their journeys academically, ensuring they have the supports they need, as well as work with the families alongside of their parents to make that journey right from grade 6 to 12.
So it's clear that you're passionate about academics, and many different roles that you've had have been kind of pushing our school forward in different fields of academics and innovation in particular. How would you describe the approach to teaching and learning that's adopted here at RNS?
I think we truly believe in educating the whole child. Academics are important, setting them up to move beyond school and go off to either university, college, or whatever their dreams take them. But we educate them more than just out of the book. We believe in learning both inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, developing their character, their courage, and their creativity. So one of the things we look for in our students is that willingness to try new things, to get out of their comfort zones, to become leaders, to take risks. I think that's what's really important. To learn is more than just about content in a book. It's really about growing you as an individual. And I think one of the schools that's really meaningful is that we support the students in that journey and try to make it unique for every student and help them carve their path that maybe they knew didn't exist.
Yeah, and I want to build on that when you talk about each student learning differently. I think the world of education has seen tremendous growth in supporting students who learn differently. And I know RNS in the last few years has made some significant strides in that area as well. So how does the school go about approaching each student and supporting them both universally in some of those supports that are provided, but also for those students who have diagnosed learning exceptionalities?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of groups of students who have similar needs and those who have unique needs. So absolutely, we have students who have learning profiles. We have a learning center that will support our students with a learning strategist who will make sure that their accommodations are followed through within the classroom and again, beyond. But I think it's more than that. We also have students who are second language. We are an international school. We have students who know 2 or 3 languages and they need supports in a different way. We also have students who are either prep athletes or very involved in activities outside of the school who travel significantly, and they need supports in a different way when they miss class. How do we ensure that they have those supports? And then we have students who just learn differently themselves, that maybe don't fall into one of the previous categories, but just learn differently. So I think what's really important for us is to identify what those needs are. And a lot of that starts with our advisor program. We call that sort of our tier 1 support, where we're in small groups of 9 or 10. You meet every day, and the advisor really gets to know the student and gets to know what makes them tick, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. But also, the advisor's not afraid to give them that little nudge, to encourage them to try out for the play for the first time. Try out to play field hockey. Maybe you've never tried a sport in your life and you just want to try something new. And I think our advisor program can help get that growth for our students and learn something that maybe they thought was not possible before.
There's an interesting kind of hybrid, I think, here at RNS where there's parallels between the success that students have in the classroom and the success that they have outside the classroom. Can you speak to, and you just talked about a little bit of kind of taking those risks, but can you speak a little bit to, that whole experience of a student in, what are the same skills that they have to have in the classroom? How do those translate outside the classroom as well, and with some of the opportunities that are offered here?
Absolutely. I believe they go hand in hand. I believe that the grit and determination you have, for example, on a sports field or on the ice, absolutely transfers to the classroom and vice versa. And that you can have it all. You can study hard, you can work hard in the classroom, and also in whatever your passion lies, whether it's on the stage or on the field or on the ice. And I think students learn that here, that they have the supports together to help create that balance. I think that's the key. It's getting the opportunities to balance those two things. It's challenging. It's not easy. And there are many times where, failure does exist. But our job is to help them learn that balance and to know that they have supports when things don't always go right. And I think that's what I see. I see students who try hard, work hard, and fail, and they learn from that. And I think those skills happen everywhere, as you said, in the classroom, out on a stage or in the field. And I think that's what learning is about.
So at RNS, when you think about a student's journey, we have some kind of distinct programs. We have a middle school program, a 9-10 program, and an 11-12 program. Can you speak a little bit to kind of the differences or unique features of each of those programs and some of the offerings that would be exciting for prospective students to consider in those grades?
I'll start with our middle school program, which is grades 6 to 8. And with our middle school program, it's often a first time being at the school, first time being in an advisor group. And really our program is about curiosity and learning and finding out what type of learners they are, learning some foundational skills, and growing their independence. So we offer the core subjects, the English, the socials, the math, and the science, but then we give them the opportunity to make some choices, to delve into the arts. We have lots of visual arts, music, drama, engineering and design, dance, musical theater. Gives kids the chance to explore and learn and also play on their creative side. We also have the opportunity for students to look at a variety of French levels. We have 4 different French levels that the students can enhance the second language learning, as well as phys ed. In the middle school, we also have, alongside the advisor period every day, they meet with their advisor to develop those relationships and get those supports. And we also in the middle school have recess. We recognize that students need a break. They need to get outside. They need to recharge themselves. And so our middle school, we felt that was important. So they have a morning and an afternoon recess to recharge themselves and get through the day. In our 9-10 program is really a bridge from middle school, and eventually they will go to the grade 11 to 12 IB program. But there's still a lot of skills and competencies that they need to learn along the way. Continuing to grow their independence is important, and just to start thinking about their career path, what they might want to do. So we have a course that's unique to us, which is called Discovery 9 and 10, and the students can have the opportunity to start learning about what a career is, what are some of the things you need to start thinking about, In our academic courses, we start to change things in, for example, our science program, where we offer students a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of biology, a little bit of physics, and they get to dabble in those and start to see what interests them. We also do something similar in history, where they have different streams of history as well. And I think that's important for them to get exposure to those subject areas, because they don't know yet perhaps what is interesting to them. And then we have lots of electives again. They have choices of having music, art, computer engineering, digital design. We also have in grade 10 an option to do an online course, which for some is challenging because you have to be completely independent, but we want some of those students to get out of their comfort zone and take a chance and learn to be independent and take that online course. In grade 11 and 12, we have our IB program, and we have students who will complete the full diploma program, which is taking 3 high level and 3 standard level courses, and we have others who will do individual certificates. But all of our students will take advantage of the opportunities that the program offers to them. It is an internationally recognized program. It fits our school very well. Being an international school, we have students from over 25 countries, and having an IB diploma, they can take it back to wherever they're from and continue their education without any difficulties. We also embrace the program because it's more than just the academics. It is a very rigorous program, but it also gives the kids the opportunity to take part in the CAS program, which is creativity, activity, and service. And that aligns well with our own school mission and values, because we want our students to be creative. We want them to be engaged in the community. We want them to try a variety of different service programs. So that's a value that we hold, and that aligns well with the IB's mission as well. And then finally, I would say something I talked to the kids about is the extended essay. It's a 4,000-word essay, which when they start may not be passionate about, but as they finish it up and they move on to university, they really realize the skills that they've learned that they're taking with them on to university, and they come back their first year and they really appreciate those skills that they have, and it's really helped them have a successful start to their first year in university.
And I can only imagine how many students would come back and have that comment, because I went on to do a liberal arts degree, and had I had the opportunity to do that type of research paper going into that experience, I would have been so much better prepared. I had to learn as I was going in my first year. But yeah, such a great experience, hindsight to look back on and to have that in your back pocket. It's
one of my favorite moments. I always say it usually happens around Thanksgiving, and a lot of our students come back and visit the campus. And it's when I get to do I told you so moment. It's one of my favorites when they come back and they say, you were right. My first year university, I can be assigned a paper, have a midterm, and have a lab at the same time, and where other students around me are stressed because they don't know how to manage and balance those tasks. It's easy for our students to write those papers and to finish those tasks on time. So I really do enjoy the I told you so moment when they come back.
When I first started working here, one of the things that I thought was so unique was the idea that we report on students' effort in the classroom, and that we don't just report on how they're doing academically in a specific subject, and we don't just have cumulative reports. Can you speak a little bit to our reporting process and why we feel as a school that it's equally as important to report about a student's effort in the classroom and kind of the effort they're putting forth as much as a cumulative report, or how they're doing on certain outcomes in different classes?
Absolutely. I think effort is essential. I think it is something that we can ask every one of our students to do, is to give us their best effort. It's not always about marks, but it is something that we can have conversations with our students about, and we believe it's part of growth. And so 3 times a year, we report back and we talk about some of the areas in which, collaboration, independence, these are the things that we want our students to be able to do. And having conversations with them about, are you giving it your best? Are you trying? to put your effort in and to succeed, I think are really good conversations to have. Having said that, we do have 3 cumulative reports because we recognize that we do need marks as well. And when they're moving on to university, marks are a requirement. So we do also assess our students, but we assess on a 1 to 7 scale as opposed to percentages. And that aligns with our IB program as well. And that gives meaningful conversations with our students. It's very easy to talk to students about what is a 5 in an English class and how can they grow to get a 6. And those are the kinds of things that we can have those meaningful conversations as opposed to what is the difference between an 82 and an 83%. And all of our reports, whether they're effort reports or cumulative, the purpose is to get feedback and to set goals from that feedback in order to obtain growth.
So if you were speaking with a prospective family, why should they choose RNS? Like if they're making a decision between maybe a couple of different independent schools or maybe choosing between a public school and coming to RNS, what is it about RNS that you would say makes this a great place for students to come and learn?
I think we offer a personalized and caring environment where students can get the supports they need but yet still be challenged with a rigorous academic program. Students need support to grow, and they need to be open to new experiences. I think we offer a tremendous amount of opportunities for our students. Sometimes too many. We need to make sure we teach our students to choose carefully and not overextend themselves. But we offer the academic program, we offer co-curricular programs in terms of arts, in terms of sports, athletics. We offer clubs where students can, learn a new skill, chess, playwriting, lots of opportunities for our students. And I think that's what makes us different, that students can take a hold of an opportunity that they just simply wouldn't have had it offered to them in the past.
What would your response be to a student who says the academics are too hard for them here?
I would say to a student, if the academics are too hard, I think I would sit down and have a conversation with them and actually walk through what their routine is. I think difficulty is hard to measure, and we all have different levels of success and we all have different expectations on ourselves. So I think you have to sit down and I would go through what the student's day-to-day looks like. Some students are up rowing at 5 o'clock in the morning. Other students are playing basketball till 9:30 at night. So for them, it is a challenge. But are there ways in which we can support them? Are there times, are there opportunities in which they can get those supports? I think I would also go through with them what supports are they using. Sometimes I will sit and talk to a student and say, have you looked at the videos that your math teacher posts on your portal? Because you can review them and play them back at twice speed or slow it down or pause it. And some students might say, oh, no, I haven't done that yet. So I think really recognizing what they've taken advantage of and perhaps the opportunities they haven't taken of yet before we can simply say it's too difficult.
Yeah, and you spoke a little bit earlier about this idea of gaining independence, and that independence doesn't come overnight. It has to be coached, it has to be taught. So this idea of kind of working with a student to help them help themselves really and kind of, build that independence as they move through our program seems to be a really important step. What are the essential characteristics for a student to have in order to be successful here at RNS? And we talked a little bit about success might look different for each student. So maybe you can touch on that as well. And this is an interesting kind of storyline that we've actually talked a lot about in our Challenge Success program is, what does success mean to a specific person? And we're coming to realize that it's very different for everyone. But what are those essential skills or characteristics that a student has to have in order to experience any success or growth here at RNS?
I think a student needs a growth mindset. You have to be willing and wanting to grow, and we can help you get there. So what that looks like is different for every student, But I think they need to be able to take risks. I think they need to trust and to know that we will support them along the way, however difficult it might be, and to know that it may take time, to have patience. Sometimes things don't happen overnight. We all want things to happen right away, but sometimes it takes a while to see that success. And I would also say that they need to celebrate successes. I think students need to celebrate themselves.
I love that. And we actually had a conversation in one of our most recent fish bowls where one of the students made a comment that they never feel like they get a chance to celebrate because then they move on to the next challenge or the next goal that they have. So I think that's a really special kind of piece of advice to give to students, is to, when you do achieve that goal or when you do realize something, just take a few moments to celebrate it before you move on to your next kind of challenge or next task. And I do think the majority of our students are so driven and so ambitious that sometimes that can get lost. So I think that's really a really great piece of advice. When you think about RNS in the next 10, 15, 20 years, what are your hopes for the school?
One of the most special things about the school is our community. And it's like a second family to everybody. And for me, I have been here 30 years. Both of my children were born here. They went to school here and graduated from RNS. And throughout that journey, it was very much a family. And it is something that we have over half of our faculty living on campus. So we see our students, our advisees, our students in our dorms on the field, eating lunch, eating breakfast, participating on the stage. We get to see all facets of them, and it's something that I know 10 years from now will never change. It's because that's who we are. That's how we're rooted in our community. And so I know if I come back 10 years, 20 years from now, that's still going to exist.
Do you have a favorite place on campus or a favorite, area of our community? I spent the last 30 minutes before this interview just walking around, and lunch had just kind of been dismissed, but there were so many kids playing on the field. There were so many just like beautiful, beautiful spaces on campus. I'm just curious if you have a favorite place.
I do. I've lived in 4 different spots on campus, being a house parent, living in individual houses in the dorms. But a newest part of our campus is the pond. And the Jordan Boyd Pond stops me every day. And it's the sound, the relaxation. It grounds me. It just makes me enjoy the serenity of the campus, and because it's also in memory of a student who passed away, it just shows those connections to the school. So it's one of my favorite spots.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you again so much for joining us on the show this week, and all the wonderful things that you're doing to support teaching and learning here at RNS. I think it's a tall task of coordinating all of the academics from grade 6 to 12 and all of the different programs that are running. But I think you and the leadership team are certainly doing a great job there to both support the students and their learning, but also the staff who are doing all the hard work in the classroom. And before we wrap up, we're asking all the guests on this season the same question, which is, what would you say is the special sauce or the secret ingredient that makes RNS unique and exceptional?
It's definitely the people. I think our employees are very special, and they're at the heart of the school. And what I love is our employee group of about 100 really know our kids. They know their names. They know what their favorite breakfast is. So when you walk into the dining hall, they know your order. When you walk into a building or residence, the kids know the staff by name. The staff know the kids by name. And that means something. When you're called by your name, you're not just one of 333 kids. When people know you by name, it means everything.
Thank you again to Miss Tammy Earle, Assistant Head of School, for joining us on the show this week. Next episode, we'll be joined by a group of students who will share their experience from the 2024 Round Square International Conference that was hosted in Colombia, and they'll discuss the impact that experience has had on them. This week's Student Spotlight is a very well-known song from our middle school production, Frozen Jr. This performance of Let It Go highlights the middle school musical ensemble and features grade 8 student Zoe as Elsa. This song was recorded live, so you can hear the footsteps of the incredible dancers, and the cheering you hear followed a very impressive dress reveal directed by Miss Millie O'Brien and executed by students Leisha and Madeline. Recently at DramaFest, the show was recognized as Outstanding Production, Outstanding Teacher Director for Miss O'Brien, and Outstanding Use of Choreography for Miss Bellissimo. Iris and Zoe were also awarded Outstanding Lead Actor, and Fio was awarded Outstanding Supporting Actor. The show also received special adjudicators mentions for Dax for technical production, Miss Chrissy Chetley and Mr. Jeff Chetley for set design, and overall ensemble commitment. Congratulations to all students and staff involved in this year's middle school musical, Frozen Jr. Until next time, remember to work hard, be kind, and look after one another.